Did you know that Cole Palmer already has more goal contributions for Chelsea than Ziyech? Even though he's played 47 less games, that's just as crazy as the fact that Lamine Yamal became the youngest player to score in LaLiga at just 16 years and 87 days. That's right, Lamine Yamal managed to score in the game against Granada on October 8th and broke the record held by Fabrice Olinga. That's not the only reason why I'm including him in this video. Even though he is just a 16-year-old boy, his energy on the pitch makes his teammates really pick up the pace. Despite the fact that he plays somewhere around 30 to 35 minutes per game, he uses these minutes to show everyone how good and talented he is. He managed to complete 69% of the dribbles he attempted and win 65% ground duels, which makes him the best dribbler in Barcelona's squad. Keep an eye on him because he could really be the next Messi for the Blaugrana. Jeremy Doku is a player who's been making waves ever since the Euro 2020, but since then, he was stuck at Rennes for 3 years. Pep Guardiola wanted a versatile player that can play just as good on the left as he can on the right, and Doku was the player he chose. It was a big transfer for him as City is probably the team to beat in England and they paid $60 million for him. However, he kept his head down and focused on football, and he became the regular starter on the left flank. He has an average rating of 7.73, which is huge. Unfortunately, he left the pitch injured in the game against Spurs, so this might have stopped his ascent. Because in the last video I mentioned Gudasi, which is not that popular right now, I wanted to keep the trend going and mention Artem Dovbyk. If you don't follow LaLiga football, you can't possibly know him as he just transferred there 6 months ago from Ukraine. Girona transferred him because they wanted a striker that could help them avoid relegation. They didn't know they bought a beast. He scored 11 goals and got 5 assists so far, and he's the 4th most prolific player of the league. He's not the only player that's shown for Girona in the 2023-24 season, as they're on second place, tied with Real Madrid after 19 games and 7 points clear for third. But I'm not going to mention more Girona players, as I want to mention in this video players from different teams. Let's take a quick trip to Bundesliga and talk about a Bayer Leverkusen player. Because I mentioned Frimpong in part 1, I think it's fair to mention Alejandro Grimaldo in part 2. The Spaniard spent 8 years at Benfica, where he became one of the best attacking left-backs in the world, and this year he wanted to find a new challenge. When Leverkusen called him, he instantly accepted the offer because Xabi Alonso, a fellow Spaniard, is the manager of the team. This can be the best season of his career as he has 7 goals and 5 assists in 16 games, but it's not all about his stats. He's so beautiful to watch as he can complete even the most complicated dribbles or passes, and on top of that, he's an exceptional free kick taker, so you can say he is a complete player. Trent Alexander-Arnold is a player that almost every Liverpool fan hated last season and wanted out. Well, Klopp trusted him, and this season he picked up his game massively. Everybody knows that his problem is defending, a thing that's been haunting him ever since he started his career, but Klopp found a clever solution to this. Even though he starts as a right back, you can see him quite often playing as a central midfielder. This way, he can show his attacking skills without having the fear that if he loses the ball, the opposing attacker will sprint to Alisson's goal. I'm sure that if you ask any Liverpool fan about Trent, they'll say they want him to stay at Anfield for life. Harry Kane really needs no introduction. He moved to Tottenham in 2013, and ever since 2014, he's been scoring over 17 league goals consistently and established himself as one of the best strikers in the world. His only problem during these 10 seasons at Spurs is that he never won a trophy. That's why he decided to move to Bayern, because they won the last 10 Bundesliga titles. They're second now, but we're not here to talk about the club. Harry Kane is having the best season of his career by far. In the league, he scored 21 goals and got 5 assists in only 15 games. That's already more contributions than he managed in 11 seasons of his career. On top of that, he has 4 goals and 3 assists in the UCL, but that's not that crazy. I hope he can finally find a trophy because he really deserves it. Imagine the scenes if he finishes a Bundesliga season with 40 to 45 goals and somehow Bayern finishes second. It would be so sad. I mentioned Cole Palmer at the start of the video, so let's talk a bit about him. He's a player raised in Man City's academy, where he made his debut in 2021 at 19 years old. Even though he showed Pep his talent, he was always a bench player, as City has so many good players in their team, and that's why he moved to Chelsea. His debut was slow, managing 1 assist in 5 games and not really showing people why Chelsea paid $40 million for him. But after the Burnley game where he got his first goal, he became unstoppable. He was playing like an English Zidane and helped Chelsea win some important points. Right now, Palmer has 8 goals and 4 assists, and he put Chelsea 10th in the league, 12 points of the last UCL spot. That's still bad, but imagine where they'd be if Palmer wasn't playing. Lastly, I want to talk about Lewandowski. There's no doubt he's one of the best strikers in the history of football, but this season he seems a little bit off. In 17 games, he has 8 goals and 4 assists, which is still good, don't get me wrong, but for his standards, it's poor. So far, he already missed 15 big chances, which is almost 1 per game, and for a player with his ambitions, it's so bad. There are Barcelona fans that want him out ASAP, but in my opinion, that's nonsense. Last season, he had 30 goal contributions, so he proved everybody what he can do. That's how quick things change in football, I guess. What does not change, however, are these facts about Kylian Mbappe, so check them out.